And look at that. We have sound. I think we have sound. I went early a little bit, or I went live a little bit early, guys, because of the trouble with last night. So I wanted to be sure that we were going to have audio, and it looks like we have audio. So tell me in the comments right now if you can hear me. I'm expecting some comments that says we can hear you loud and clear. Yeah. Okay. We have about 3-4 more minutes to go. So I'm going to, let me know in the comments, because this is lagging behind just a little bit on the timer for YouTube. So hopefully I see some comments here from the people who are already on that say, yeah, it's working. I still haven't seen. Okay. We've got Steve Thompson says we can hear you. Dude, Steve, thank you so much. Oh, wait. Zach Middleton says no sense. Zach, dude. If you only knew, Zach, holy shnikes. Okay, I'm going to go grab some water, and I will be right back. Man, this is horrible. Well, last night was horrible. Tonight is great. It's already great. So I'm going to go get my water, and I'll be right back. Oh boy. Okay. We'll just wait a little bit more for people to come on. We probably won't have near as big of a turnout as I normally would have if everything would work right. Funny thing, that was last night was not my issue. That was a YouTube issue. Because the equipment is all still hooked up. But in the same way, I checked settings 1,000 times, inputs on the computer, inputs on my mixer. I tried different mics. I tried different ways. I tried different computers. Nothing would work. I could get absolutely nothing to work. My laptop wouldn't work. I tried resetting permissions on the browsers. I tried normally I'm in Chrome. I tried Chrome, Firefox, Safari, tried resetting all settings in all those browsers on both computers. So 6 browsers, 2 different computers. And it wouldn't even do a live feed on my laptop, so, and I literally tried around 150 things and then finally got it to work last night, but it took me 2 hours till I got even one to work, and then I couldn't replicate it. So I was writing things down like gibberish on, like if I do this and this and this, and I got a whole system of where it's like, okay, if I do these things, this will work. And then I even did a live this morning just to test it. A lot of these times I was doing it in private mode or unlisted mode, and I could get it to work there, but not on the public. So then I found a stupid little cheat code that I could do. So it was never my mics. That was a YouTube problem. Not my mics, not my equipment. So anyway, that's how that went down. So last night was one of the harder nights that I've had in Dirt Bike Channel. Because you spend so much time and effort trying to in reality, it's just trying to be transparent and show people the sauce, like a peek behind the curtain. I could just draw these names out of a bowl and never show you guys. But I want to show you that it is at random. And the only way to do that is live. So it's not edited, because you can't edit a live video. And so that's what I've always wanted to do, is show transparency. And you wouldn't believe the number of emails. I got a lot of emails with support, right? There were a ton of you guys that emailed me, and I haven't checked my email for a couple hours because I've been working on the bikes, but there was a ton of people that emailed with support. And then there was still, you get those a-holes that are like, what a scam and all this stuff. And it sucks too, because that text message, I sent out a text message last night, that cost me $1,000 to send that out. And the whole point of the text message last night was to give you the link so that you could come to the video. Well, that by the time people were clicking on that, it didn't even matter. So I'm like, there was $1,000 up in smoke. A lot of this, it costs money to do a lot of this stuff. So anyway, we're here. My voice is a little bit hoarse because of Supercross. I took my kids to Supercross, my older kids to Supercross in San Diego, and we just had the best time ever. So if you're in the comments here, just let us know where you're coming from. We've got about 600, 700 people in here now. And it's just a couple minutes after 6. I'll give a few more minutes. We started this early. I started this early to make sure that we were actually going to have, make sure the audio was going to work. Yeah. So why is my heat on? I've got to turn the heat off in the house. I've been out in my shop working on the bike, working on a couple different bikes. And then I hurried and took a shower and came in here. So, but everything was all set up. I've got my finalists right here on a piece of paper that I can write down who we draw out of the bowl. All the finalist names are in here. You can probably hear that. They've been in here. I don't have a helper because I typically don't have my kids on, what is it? Tuesday? Is it Wednesday night? So I don't have a helper. I'm just here alone at the house. But yeah. And I've gotten all the stuff done on my list today, except for one thing. I didn't work out today, but I did all the other things that I was supposed to do. It was a rest day. But I was still going to do some cardio, so I didn't lift. But you got a lot of people in here. 739 people. Okay, so I'm just going to get rolling here with the agenda. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support, and thank you for the patience with last night. I mentioned it earlier. It was a YouTube issue, a YouTube problem. It wasn't my stuff. It was YouTube, and I verified it 6 ways from Sunday on multiple computers, and hopefully they get that shiz sorted out for the next time that we do this. The next sweepstakes is going to be in March, and it'll be a Gas EC300, which I just took the suspension off of right now because I'm going to have moto experts do custom suspension on that bike. So it's going to be absolutely sick. You guys supported it like the last day and a half, 2 days. We made enough money to cover that. And then, okay, we're going to fund the next one. That's how these sweepstakes go. So anyway, that's what we've got. We've had 42, I think, prior winners. And one of the reasons why I make sure that I get that person on the phone before, just like, if they don't answer the phone, I make sure to text them and I give them 48 hours. The reason why is because you never know. Like they could be at a football game, they could be at their kids' basketball practice or whatever. Or like last time, they could be in the hospital. So if you guys know, the last time we did this, my winner was actually in the hospital. So then she called me back a little bit later. So I give people some time. But that's how this goes. So what'll happen is we'll pull this name out of here, whoever that is, and then we'll give them a call. Sweepstakes Pros is the administrator that does these sweepstakes for me. At least I pay them to administer them, and I pay them to do the legal fees and all that stuff. I mean, I pay them to handle the legal services for these things. It costs many, many, many thousands of dollars to do this. So, and they're the ones that then I send all the data to them. All the data that I have as far as like who entered and how many entries they have, as well as like the data that comes from Rocky Mountain ATV. Rocky Mountain ATV what anonymizes the data to me. They just assign you a random number, so that they're not giving me a lot of people's contact information. And that number identifies you. And then this number has 50 entries. Like number 5 has 50 entries or whatever. That data all goes to Sweepstakes Pros. And then they're the ones that are also handling the postcards. Because you can use postcards to get entered into this thing. So then once they amalgamate all that data, compile it all, then they do a random sampling based on the total number of entries, and that gives me these 10 finalists. These are the names right here. So what'll happen is I'm going to pull out a number or pull out a name, because I know the names now of all these 10 people. I will then just give that person a call. Fingers crossed we can get them on the phone. If we can, it's great. And then they have to answer 3 questions. Number 1 is, who am I? Number 2 is, what am I giving away? And number 3 is, what is my tagline? Those are 3 questions that will protect me from protect all of us from giving a dirt bike away to somebody who just entered a sweepstakes by like literally going to a sweepstakes website and filling out a postcard, but they don't know anything about dirt bikes or dirt bike channel. So if you were that person and you just entered that way, then you wouldn't be able to answer 2 of these 3 questions, and I would just hang up on you. Okay. So that's the deal. Who am I? I'm Kyle Brotherson. What am I giving away? You can say a Husky dirt bike, a 2-stroke dirt bike, as long as you say it's a dirt bike. And then what is my tagline, which is leave a single track. If you can answer 2 of those 3 questions correctly, then you're my winner. So that's how this works. Okay. Who's ready? Let's see in the comments. Who's ready? Who's ready for this sucker? Say, yes, I'm ready. We'll see how long of a delay there is here. Oh, Mike says I'm ready. Getting lots of I readies. Okay. I wish I had Kenzie here or just one of my kids here to do this. So you can see we are mixing all these things up. And at random, we have pulled out Brenda Hutala from Moorhead, Minnesota. Brenda, is that Hutala? Brenda Hutala. Okay, Brenda. You're on the clock. If anybody knows Brenda from Moorhead, tell her to answer the phone. All right, Brenda. Let's see if you're here. We'll put her on speaker.
Hello?
Hey, is it Brenda?
That's me?
Hey, Brenda, do you know who's calling?
No.
Do you know what I'm giving away?
No.
Do you know what my tagline is?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good night. Holy shnikes! We just did it. We prevented someone who just entered via a postcard from getting this. Holy woo! She knows her name was Brenda, but she has no idea who I am. Woo! That's the first time that's ever happened. And this time, I'm well within my rights to hang up on her. Oh my gosh, my heart is pounding so hard. Because I was like, when she said she didn't know who it was, and she didn't know what I'm giving away, and she doesn't know what my tagline is, every single other person that we've done this with has been able to say those things. So Brenda, by the rules, is disqualified. Oh my gosh. How's she supposed to know? That's what the rules are for. If she doesn't know who I am and she can't answer what I'm giving away and she doesn't know my tagline, then she's not paying attention. Oh my gosh, I gotta have a drink. Okay. There's yeah. Yeah. That's why we do it, dude. That's why we've got those things. Brenda doesn't know anything about it. I kind of figured Brenda didn't know anything about it because she'd never placed an order with me. And she didn't come off the Rocky Mountain ATV link. So by process of elimination, Brenda had only entered via postcard. So I know that because I didn't have her contact information in my system. And she wasn't one of the ones that came in off the Rocky Mountain ATV link. So she came in off a postcard by process of elimination. Sorry, Brenda. But this is why we did it. Okay, here we go. It works as advertised. Oh, come on. And we're going to go with right here. Who do we have? Sean Nicols from Morrison, Colorado. Sean Nicols from Morrison, Colorado. Okay. And some people said, well, what about text sign up? I would know because I'd have your contact information. Or what about email? I would know because I'd have your contact information. So I pretty much know if somebody comes in off of a postcard because I wouldn't know anything about them. And that's what Brenda was. Okay, Sean, we're going to write this down. Where are you, Sean? Okay. Sean Nicols from Morrison, Colorado. Okay, Sean. Watch this. All right, Sean.
Hello?
Hello, is this Sean?
Yeah, this is him.
Hey, Sean, do you know who's calling?
This is Kyle. This is unreal.
Dude, okay. You got one of your questions answered. Sean, do you know what I'm giving away?
Yeah, TE 300 Pro.
Dude, are you watching the live stream?
I'm not. I was watching it last night.
You mean the one that didn't happen last night?
Yeah.
Okay, and then just for shizzes and giggles, what's my tagline?
Leave a single track.
Dude, you answered all of them. Guess what? You're the winner, man.
No way.
You're the winner, and this is being live streamed on YouTube right now.
That's nuts.
Oh man, what do you think?
This is crazy.
So what's funny too is you're not the first name I drew out of the bowl. So when you go back and you watch this, we pulled somebody out of the bowl, and her name was Brenda. And I call her, she answers the phone right off the bat. I'm like, hey, Brenda, do you know who this is? And she's like, no. And I'm like, do you know what I'm giving away? No. I'm like, do you know what my tagline is? She's like, I have no idea. And I just hung up on her because she didn't know any of it and you knew all of it, which is how this was supposed to be. So anyway, congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much, Kyle. And you supported my thread locker business too.
Oh yeah.
So I was the one who started the thread locker business. So I appreciate that too.
Is that the one that's stuck nuts?
Yeah,
dude,
give back trails and stuff like that. So thank you so much,
dude. Yeah. So those of you guys that don't know that you're just watching this, we got about 1,000 people watching this thing. So Sean has a thread locker business. It's called Stuck Nuts. I think it was one. I can't remember if you emailed me one day, or whatever. But you saw me using like Loctite thread locker, and you're like, bro, I have this stuff, and I'm like trying to give back to the community, and I'm like, send me some stuff. So I used it yesterday and today. I'm still using it.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a crazy story. It's a small world. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your riding.
Real big into hard enduro. Yeah, so I'll definitely destroy it. But thank you so much.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. So do you have kids? You ride with like some buddies, or what type of riding do you do out there? As far as just, I mean, you said hard enduro, but
yeah, I do a lot of moto too and ride hard enduro. You know, I live in Colorado, so all the Colorado trails, and I try to chase the hard enduro scene. So
that's so cool. How long you been riding then?
I was 3 years old.
Since you were 3. so you know a lot more about this. Like anybody who's ridden since they were 3, I'm so jealous because I'm like, I didn't even start into this until I was 30. So
right, it's all I know. So it's a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah, good and bad for sure. So who are you going to tell first that you won this bike?
I don't know. I'm in shock still.
Speechless. Yeah, I get a lot. That happens a lot. Like sometimes people are just like, oh my gosh, they don't know what to say. And then I always see some comments like, oh my gosh, like how come they're not showing any like excitement? I'm like, it's because they're in shock. Like most people are in shock.
Yeah, I'm just speechless.
Yeah. Well, you're in good company with that, because a lot of people, when I call them, are like that. So well, that's amazing. So how's the thread locker business going? Are you still doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. We're in Rocky Mountain ATV, which is awesome. And yeah, I've just been giving back lots of, we're losing lots of trails. So I just try to give back to the community. So
yeah, that's for sure.
My main motivation. So
oh my gosh, that's awesome. Did I do a video on that, or because I can't remember.
Yeah, you mentioned me in like when you're like talking about your top chemicals. So That was
Oh, okay, chemicals. Well, that would have been a good place to do it. We should do a refresh on that, because literally I use it all the time. Every single time I'm ever using any sort of thread locker, I'm using your stuff. So I should revisit that. And I might even need
more now.
Well, dude, let me buy it. Like I don't like taking anything for free, because what I want to be able to do on anything that I can is to say, hey, look, I bought this. Like I have no affiliation with these guys. Well, sometimes I do. Sometimes what we'll do is we'll do like a hey, buy this thing and you get a little bit of a discount, but I want to be able to tell people the reason why I'm using it is because I bought it and I really, really like it. I think it's a good product. So that's how I've handled it,
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
But yeah, so how far, like Morrison, I haven't even looked on the map. Where is that like in relation to Denver?
Like 45 minutes southwest. I'm by Thunder Valley, like the
Okay. Thunder Valley MX.
by Red Rocks Amphitheater, so I'm not too far from you.
Okay, cool. Well, we may be able to just meet you then to deliver this bike. So here's how this works. I will send your information. I'll send an email tonight, and I'll be copying the sweepstakes administrators. Then they will send you some documents, and they'll send you like a W-9, and at least one of those things has to be notarized. So don't sign anything until you get in front of like a public notary.
Okay.
Otherwise they'll reject it, and then that's it. So you just either send that to me or send that back directly to the sweepstakes administrators. You can either scan it or fax it. I mean, most people scan it, or you can just take a picture of it or whatever and send it back. And then they give me the green light and they say he's officially your winner. So they're the ones who do the vetting process. But yeah, that's it, man.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm just in shock. So
yeah. Well, last night was like one of the worst nights of my whole business, because I couldn't get the damn, like the audio wouldn't work. I was pulling my hair out. I messed with it for 2 hours last night. I messed with it for 2 hours this morning, and it was a YouTube issue. It wasn't my equipment. It was just some really fluky thing that they've got going on with their live feeds and stuff right now. So anyway, but
well, all happens for a reason, I guess.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll cut you loose. And then watch for that email to come from me in just a little bit. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Sean. We'll talk to you later.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, this giveaway, between last night and tonight. Oh my heck. Oh, that was, and then we had Brenda coming in, and like, I know Brenda came in off a postcard, and look, I've given several bikes away for people that just send in postcards because I have to. But then what happened was we were getting so many postcards. This is a couple of years ago. It culminated 2 years ago, exactly. Almost 2 years ago, we went to give away a bike that was a $30,000 bike. And what happened is it was going to this person who didn't know anything about dirt bikes. She had just come in off one of those sweepstakes websites where I get listed in these websites where it's like, oh, these guys are doing a sweepstakes, send a postcard or whatever. And we were getting so freaking many postcards. And I was at like, long story short, I worked really, and we ended up not giving it to her because she didn't actually send in a postcard that had all the information on it. She disqualified herself. So we had some words with the sweepstakes company. And then we all, they were, oh my gosh, they felt so bad. But anyway, in the end, it was gnarly. And then we came up with this brilliant method to be like, hey, if somebody comes in off a postcard and knows zero about dirt bikes and zero about Dirt Bike Channel, then they won't be able to answer 2 of these 3 questions. Like the sweepstakes administrators wanted me to even make it so that I would say a code word like 1 week before, and then if you didn't know that code word, you weren't going to get the bike. But I'm like, dude, that's going to disqualify too many people who were just busy with stuff. But let's do this. So I came up with those 3 questions. Who am I? What am I giving away? And what's my tagline? And if you can answer 2 of those 3 questions, you're golden. And the sweepstakes company is like, well, how do you know like a random person off a postcard won't be able to answer that? And I'm like, they won't know me. I'm like, my audience, you guys, the people who are watching this stuff and listening to this stuff, you know exactly who I am as soon as you hear my voice. And it's because you've been paying attention to this stuff and you're in it. So anyway, And that's exactly what this is for. Sean Nicols. I didn't even remember. Okay, so who wants to see the other finalists? This is what we always typically do. I'm just going to write down that he's my grand prize winner on this. Grand prize. So here he is, and I've got him written down on this other thing. Okay, so here are the other people in the bowl. We had Tony Gravaglia. Is that, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Tony Gravaglia from Belfair, Washington was in there. We had John Reeb from Kuna, Idaho. John Reeb, Kuna, Idaho. We had Robert D. Michelle. I think that's how we'd pronounce that. Robert D. Michelle from Mechanicsville, Maryland. Robert D. Michelle. That's a Maryland guy. Like we have a lot of people that enter these things from the West, probably because I am from the West. We had Dwayne Bennett from Thompson Station, Tennessee, somebody from the South. I get less uptake in these sweepstakes from people in the South than I think anywhere else. Dwayne Bennett, Thomas Station, Tennessee. But Brenda was from Minnesota. Matthew Strickland from Virginia. He was in here. But yeah, this is all about transparency, guys. I try to be as transparent as I can. Brandon Wilcox from Mesa, Arizona. Mesa, Arizona. My heart is still pounding from that Brenda phone call. Oh my gosh. Dan Farinelli from Sandown, New Hampshire. Sandown, New Hampshire. So we had some good uptake from the Northeast. And it shows in the finalists. And then Michael Hunter from Redding, California. He was in here. So, oh gosh. Like between last night and tonight, that's one of the harder giveaways that I've ever had to do. I've never hung up on somebody. Well, I hung up on that her name was Carol. I won't share her last name, but I hung up on that Carol woman once. The sweepstakes company told me not to talk about her. But anyway, the point is we just made it so that we were protecting this so that it would only go to people who were in this community. And we're totally I'm within my legal right to do that. And the reason why I did it is to protect you guys. Like the whole reason. So, you know what Sean was talking about, he wants to give back. That's why he found out some things about some of the more popular like thread lockers about kind of who they're funding and who they're supporting, and they're not moto friendly. So then he's like, dude, I'm going to create my own thread locker company, and it is going to be moto friendly, and he's going to give back. And that's what I'm doing here. Like, obviously, this is one of the main ways that I've supported my family in the last 6.5 years, 15 years. But it's not like I'm living a lavish lifestyle. It's not like I'm becoming a millionaire. What I'm really doing is just sharing some of the knowledge of bikes and sharing my passion for it. And then people are getting motorcycles. You know, there's 42 people that have over 40 people that have won motorcycles, and that's because you guys keep supporting this. You keep using links to Rocky Mountain ATV. I love that way because it doesn't cost you anything. You're going to buy the stuff from them anyway, whether it's tires or gear or tools or whatever. You're going to buy that anyway. And if you use my link before you click on that, and then I get a kickback for sending you there, and it's huge. That is so huge. I love that part. And then there's also people who bought hats from me, or tie downs, or shirts, or wash brushes, or any of this stuff, and I put it on there, and then it gives you entries into winning these bikes. And that's how we've been able to do this. And so it's all because of you guys. And I always get really, really, emotional when I stop and think about it. If you've been on these live feeds and you've paid attention, like, it means something to me. It matters to me. I was listening to this podcast I mean, I'll listen to Joe Rogan. Like if he's got somebody on there that I think is interesting or whatever, I'll listen to it. And it's funny because he's having all these long form conversations and there was somebody he had on there recently and they were talking about how like he was saying it's weird because people think they know you, but like him, and he's like, but you don't know them. But it's like, and they do know me. They know me because they've been listening to me for, like some of them listen to me for hundreds of hours. So he's like, they do know a lot of what I think. They know what my political leanings are. They know all this stuff about me. And he's like, and I don't know anything about them. And so he's like, it's weird. And and that's Joe Rogan. And then there's Kyle, like at the very bottom, the very, very bottom. I'm a million miles away from Joe Rogan, but where it made me like, where I could empathize is like, yeah, if you've been watching these videos for a minute, you know me. Like, you know exactly who I am. Like, stuff about my family, and you know how much I care about my kids, and you know how much like this means to me. And you know how shitty it feels when people like attack. And I try not, like, I almost never read comments on YouTube. I almost never look at Instagram. Like I'll post and ghost or whatever. But then it's like, there are people that will then just get your direct email and they'll just sit there and like, just really, go after you. And it almost like it's most of the time it's water off a duck's back, but the cumulative effect of that over 15 years, even though you're just like, no, that's just a nobody in his basement who's jealous. And a lot of it is jealousy when they come at you with like all this hate. A lot of it is just jealous. They're pissed off that they didn't do it. But it does have an effect. And so the people who then take the time to email and say, hey, we appreciate what you're doing. You help me with this, you help me with that. You have no idea how much that is appreciated. Like, you have no idea. And because like I do love this sport and I do want it to grow, and that's why I continue this. Like if I didn't love it as much as I do, I would have quit it a long time ago, like straight up. But I still get like a warm feeling in there when, I get an email from somebody that said, hey, you helped me through a tough time, or you helped me with this, or you helped me with that. And I'm so grateful. And that's why I keep going, is because I'm like, I feel like there's a lot of things you could do to make a living. And when I've done other jobs, like there wasn't a lot of fulfillment. I did sales in a lot of different capacities, but you didn't really change anybody's life if you sold them some technology thing. But if you helped them with something that they're interested in, like if you help them with one of their passions, then they remember that and they're really thankful for it. And so that's why I've done it. So anyway, that's what I have for you guys. Sean Nicols from Morrison, Colorado. Oh yeah, here he was. That was his name. That's the one we pulled out. Grand prize. Sean Nicols, Morrison, Colorado. If you haven't checked his stuff out, it's stuck nuts. I didn't even know that was the same guy. I'll have to dig up his email. And then there's all these other people that we just called out to. So, okay. I appreciate everybody that's still on here. And yeah, thanks for the support. Thanks for the encouraging emails for those of you that sent those. We did it. Okay. Until next time, leave a single track.